What is a narcissist's shame spasm, and how did you trigger it? There are 3 types of shame: shame of failure, shame of defect, and shame of insult. Shame of failure is exactly what it sounds like. We fail at something, at a task, or maybe we make a mistake in a relationship, and in a healthy person, we say, okay, I messed up, it's a little bit uncomfortable, I admit my mistake, and I figure out how I'm not going to repeat it in the future. Fine. Shame of defect is also fairly self-explanatory. It is the shame one feels when they perceive that they are somehow defective, abnormal, starting behind the starting line, so to speak. And like shame of failure, this can be positive in the sense that it can drive us to achieve and succeed, to prove our worth, so to speak. Shame of insult is when somebody insults us and we feel shame. Now, a healthy person will check themselves and do a self-audit as to whether there's any truth to the insult, even though it may not be delivered in the nicest or most altruistic way. Criticism can contain a truth that our therapist is too well paid to tell us. Alternately, our self-audit may come out clean, and we can helpfully determine that the criticism says far more about the criticizer than the criticizee. However, the narcissist cannot bear the shame of insult. The narcissist is completely consumed by an immature ego, and the ego wants to be God, and because God is perfect, the ego cannot tolerate any suggestion of imperfection. So here's where it gets interesting. The narcissist's response to shame of insult is to completely devalue the insulter, to only see them in a negative light. This is at the opposite end of the spectrum as romantic love, in which the viewer only sees the subject in a positive light, overlooking any flaws. So if the narcissist sees himself as perfect, and you're an extension of the narcissist, therefore you must also be perfect. And when he or she decides that you are imperfect, suddenly that admiration flips to revulsion and discard and devalue and separation, because the narcissist cannot handle any suggestion of being imperfect. So simply by disagreeing with the narcissist or suggesting that they may have a little bit of personal growth to do, this always triggers shame of insult. This touches the narcissistic wound that the ego is in fact not God and is imperfect. Therefore, when proceeding with a divorce involving a narcissist, as good as it might feel in the moment to shame, blame, insult them, point out their shortcomings, and might feel like a necessary part of your court case, especially if a custody battle is involved, you have to understand that even though everything you're saying might be true, it's like poking a wild animal, a wounded animal, right? They are going to attack, which might be the best thing because then they can show the courts who they are. And there's no scientific formula for what is the most spiritually productive way to proceed. Like any form of warfare, this really is a case-by-case basis. And frankly, you have to consider this warfare from the standpoint that an enemy is defined as anybody who wishes to cause us harm or harass us. Only you can decide if it is the best course of action for you to show honor to the narcissist. It doesn't matter that they don't deserve it. That's not your job. You are not their police officer. You are not their mother or their disciplinarian. But show, and this doesn't mean giving them what they want, by the way, but simply to show honor and respect in the sense that this may be your best and only, frankly, avenue to achieving your objectives.